Hey there, folks. How you doing? Um, Today I'm going to talk about something that's a bit of contention for a lot of people, and that is two words that are probably the easiest way to piss people off, and those two words are flat Earth. There's a reason why I think that people get so infuriated when you mention the words flat Earth. I did for years. I thought it was completely batshit crazy. I didn't. I until I decided to look at it, and then I was like, oh, wow. Well, wait a minute. Let me talk to you about what I did in my own personal studies to in my mind prove that the Earth is indeed it is flat. We can look at several things that just really do not make sense. Science tells us that the Earth is spinning at I think it's exactly it's over 1,000 miles an hour. I think it's 1,035 miles per hour. Yet the speed of sound is 767 miles per hour. So think about that for a second. We're spinning faster than Mach 1, according to mainstream science. Okay? If that were the case, every sound would be delayed. You'd see it, and then there would be a delay. If the Earth was spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, wind would only move in one direction or blow in one direction, but we see wind blow in all directions. So there are a lot of things, and by all means go ahead and do your own research on this, and do your own science, because I trust nothing anymore. So here's what I did and how I proved it to myself that it was flat. Now I live in New Hampshire, so I have access to the Atlantic Ocean. It's a 30-minute drive for me, and so I found 2 points in a town called Salisbury, New Hampshire. Okay, and here it is on my map here. Okay, and this is the coastline here, and this is Salisbury Beach right here. So you can get right to the beach. Now there's this island here, and then there's Rockport, Massachusetts. And so I used an app, as you can see here, and I measured the distance from here to be exactly 19.11 miles. Okay, so that's 19 miles. I then plugged that into Earth Curve Calculator, which is available online, and 6 feet tall. There's the distance. I should be able to observe exactly 173 feet of curvature looking out over 19 miles. For those of you who don't know, that's approximately 17 stories. 173 feet of curvature is, 17 stories. So that's a fairly big building, right? If you think about a 17-story skyscraper, it's really not a skyscraper, but in a lot of towns it's probably the biggest building. So I went to the coastline, and here's what I saw. Let's play that again. If you hold a straight edge to the horizon, looking out from the island to Rockport, you can see easily that there is no curvature, not even an inch, let alone 17 stories. It's perfectly flat. So this notion that most people will tell you, well, the Earth is too big, you can't see the curve, that's a complete lie. It's totally fake. It makes no sense. It doesn't add up to the math. The math is the math. Math doesn't lie. People in their settled science lies. So that's the test that I did. Gravity can hold trillions of gallons of water against the planet, but it can't hold a feather or a mosquito. I encourage you to do your own research. I've done mine. I've flown one week. I flew from New England out to Anaheim, California, and back, and then back out to Michigan and back. So I flew about 10,000 miles that week, and that was back in February. I took a lot of photos from the aircraft, and everywhere I could see, for as far as I could see, was completely flat. There was no observable curvature. According to mainstream science, the Earth is 25,000 miles in circumference. There should be observable curvatures, and these curvatures should be measurable, but they're just simply not there. So there's my evidence. There's my test. I'm convinced everything we see and observe is from a flat plane. Everything that we see and observe is from a flat plane. You can go out to the beach and you can look out over the Atlantic or the Pacific or any ocean, and you can see that it's perfectly flat for as far as you can see. You can go 35,000 miles feet in the air in an airplane, look out the window, and you can see it's flat for as far as you can see, and the horizon follows you up. But since the time we first stepped into a kindergarten classroom and saw a globe for the first time, we have been indoctrinated into believing this round ball thing. So you've got a conflict between ego and intuition. Now that is the definition of cognitive dissonance. There are two beliefs right there. Your intuition says the earth is flat. Your ego, everything you've been told, tells you that the earth is round. And then you can look up, if you want to go in and attack NASA, that's really easy. There's so many videos that everything they put out is garbage. It's all fake. And it's easily provable that it's fake. But because you have these two internal conflicts, it becomes classic fight or flight. When people are presented with a cognitive or evidence that contradicts them, or a person internally has a contradiction, like we all do, the intuition that the earth is flat, and then the ego that the earth is round, okay? That creates a conflict. Fight or flight kicks in. We kick it out and say, you know what? I don't want to deal with that. You're an idiot. You're stupid. You're crazy. Put on a tinfoil hat. And all the other insults that come along. So that's really what's going on. And I think that once we make the choice to absolve ourselves of ego, because ego is a fickle bitch. Once you absolve yourself of ego, it's amazing, what you can see, because you find yourself repeating things all the time. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. Oh, this cigarette lighter is sold all around the globe. Well, I stopped myself and I said, why am I using the word globe and around? And I've never been around the world. I don't know. I don't know that it's round. I've never been into space. I've been told my whole life that it's round. You see it in logos. You see it in the AOL logo. You see it in Paramount logos. You see it in movies. You see it. It is literally everywhere. You see it in the peace symbol. You see the round Earth everywhere. So when people question this and people go out there and they say that the Earth is flat, initially, your first reaction will always be to attack that person. That is classic fight or flight, because your body and your intuition already knows that the earth is flat. But your ego is telling you that it's round, and you don't want to deal with that. So you attack the messenger. Classic fight or flight. So again, there's my evidence. I went out to the beach. I was standing 1 foot from the waves. I'm 6 feet tall. I looked out across, measured 19 miles, and I did not observe a curvature. The Michelson and Morley experiment proved years ago, I think it was in the 1800s, that the Earth does not move. They took a light wave and they put it in, they split it, and one went in the direction of the spin, one went in the opposite direction of the spin, hit mirrors, and then recombined. Now, if the Earth was spinning, the side that was going along with the spin of the Earth should have arrived before the second one, but they didn't. They arrived at the same time, because the Earth is not moving. It's all right in front of your face. It's not moving. It's flat. Hold a lighter outside the window of a car going 10 miles an hour and tell me if you can keep this going. You can't. So, do your own experiment. There are a lot of people doing experiments on this now, and the thing about it, it isn't a small cult. This knowledge is being revealed. Millions of people are waking up to this reality, and it's growing exponentially. So if you don't like flat earthers, I've got bad news for you. It's only getting stronger and bigger, exponentially faster. Millions and millions of more people all across the plane are starting to wake up to this deception. And it's interesting. Why would they do this? That's the question everybody asks. Why? What do they have to gain? Why would they do this? Well, there's a lot of theories. I have a theory. But a ball Earth is being a insignificant nothing speck of accident in a infinite plane, infinite universe, certainly hides God pretty good. So this is an old Buddhist map right here. Okay. This map was it was first published by the Hawaiian Gazette in 1907, and in the article it says that it is a 1,000-year-old Buddhist map. Now what we see is a picture of flat Earth, and we see a whole bunch of continents all the way around it. Now there was a man named Admiral Byrd, and he was. He was an explorer, and he went in 1956 thereabouts, don't quote me on the date, but he went on national TV and he had reported that he had found a landmass 2,600 miles beyond the South Pole that was the size of North America. And there was trees, and there was green, and there was vegetation, and it was completely, he claims that it was completely, there was no humans there, it was uninhabited, and huge resources there and all that sort of thing. So he had sailed off the coast of Argentina. So if we go to the map, there's Argentina, and you go to the South Pole, which is the Antarctic rim, and then you go beyond that, you see this landmass, which is approximately the size of North America, right there. There's the landmass. So I believe that he found that landmass right there. Now, 2,600 miles beyond the South Pole would put him somewhere in the middle of the Indian Ocean. So he found something. But if we go to the United Nations, who have signed the treaty with a whole slew of other countries that no one can explore there, and it's off limits. If we look at the United Nations logo, we see the flat Earth. Okay, most flat earthers will point that out. But they don't point out another significant problem or clue. The olive leaves. There are 28 olive leaves around this. Now, if we remember the logo of the United States, of the eagle clutching the olive branches, there's 13 branches, and the branches all represent the original 13 colonies. Some conspiracy theorists will say it's the 13 families that rule the world. Take your pick. But the significance is that it represented the 13 colonies. It represented something, as does the United Nations logo. So we have 20. So if we go, Star Wars picture there, back to the flat map, we can see there are approximately 28 continents beyond the Antarctic rim. And I think that that's what they're hiding. There it is again. So you see all these continents that are all, here's the flat Earth, just like in the UN logo, right? Then you picture the Antarctic rim, and you've got all these additional continents all the way around. United Nations logo, flat Earth, 28 olive leaves all the way around. That's what I think they're hiding. Why would they hide that? Who knows? That's anyone's guess. Maybe there's infinite wealth there. Maybe there's infinite power there. There's all sorts of So do your own research. That's what I found. I've been trying to make this video for a while, and there you have it.